We all make choices. But in the end, our choices make us. So choose wisely. Subscribe to It's Erik Nagel wherever podcasts are found. And leave a positive review, won't you kindly?
Okay, anything else that we need to mention?
Is that guy eating a foot?
What?
What was that link you sent about a sandwich? I clicked on it.
Oh, yeah.
This guy just like going down on his woman's foot in traffic.
No, I'm good.
I was completely disgusted by that.
Yeah, me too. That's why I sent it. I was like, this is gross. I gotta send this to people.
Yeah, I think that's it. We've got enough to go with.
That's enough, yeah.
Ready?
Yeah.
As ready as I'll ever be. Ready as I'll Applebee's? What?
It's Erik Nagel. And it starts now.
What up, my Nagel? 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 Talking about George R.R. Martin, not writing. Talking Marvel versus DC, who's more exciting? Talking George Lucas's legacy, high-scoring centipede. Talking Gittles' new beef burrito recipe. Talking about Stephanie McMahon versus Sable. Talking about the Cybermen versus the Weeping Angels. Don't blink, the dialect's more deadly than you think. Talking Summer Ale, Blueberry Pale, craft beer, pouring drinks. What up, my Nagel? Deadpool 2 features Cable. Talking Funko Pop, celebrity signed a label. Talking online gaming, bitching and complaining. Talking E-Rock, kissing the feet of Matt Groening. Warner Brothers properties, Superman's a mockery. Weird Al concerts, Kevin Smith's debauchery. Rick and Morty fun zone. The Lego build team, can I have your attention? Possible Donkey Kong kill screen. What up, my Nagel? What up, my Nagel? What up, my Nagel? What up, my Nagel?
Ladies and gentlemen of the universe, the next voice you hear.
It's Erik Nagel.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of It's Erik Nagel. That is me. Over in the Upside Down is Gittles.
Hello.
And also trapped in the Upside Down is our pal, Matt OG.
What's going on?
We are without Trevor this week. He is down with the sickness, and he's got a bunch of broadcasts coming up. Wait, let's pause and let Matt do the Disturbed thing.
I said, ooh, wah.
Perfect. That's exactly what I was hoping for.
That's far better than the lead singer ever did it.
Yeah, so Trevor's he's sick. He's got a bunch of live broadcasts, one of which I'm doing with him when this comes out the day of the podcast for Scott Shannon's 1000th show on CBS FM. So I'll be there for that live event, which will be a lot of fun, and we'll recap that next week when Matt will be away on vacation. We have time to go into other things. But for everybody else here, give us a call, 651-764-8437. That's 651-SMITHERS. Leave us a voicemail, and we could use it here on the show. Also, I want to point out, hi again to our fans up in the great country of Canada. When we were on satellite radio, we had an amazing fan base out of Canada. They were always, I guess Canada's lonely, because they would constantly call.
They're very friendly.
Friendly and lonely. And they would constantly call the program, and we used to get a lot of feedback from our listeners up in Canada. But the latest news that Bell Media, which has a partnership or running iHeart Canada, just expanded their podcast base up there. So I guess our show is available through iTunes and other platforms, but as far as going through the iHeart app and whatever is now available up in Canada, plus they've expanded with a whole bunch of Canadian-based content, which seems to be the law up there, that you have to have a certain percentage of exclusive Canadian-based programming no matter what media tier that you happen to be on.
What's some Canadian-based programming?
Well, it has to be, I don't know, the best of back bacon. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
You know what?
Doing.
I would subscribe to that shit.
But if you have a new network, right, and it's either broadcasting out of Canada or into Canada, you are required by Canadian law to have a certain percentage of Canadian-based programming, either done in Canada or focusing on people of Canada.
Okay.
So enough about Canada. Welcome again if you're just finding us for the first time, or if you're just finding us like, oh my God, they're not on satellite anymore. Welcome to the show. Please tell two friends, and so they can tell two friends, etc., etc. Go around the room and see what's been going on in the lives of everybody on here. We'll start with Matt OG. What's been going on with you?
Oh, this, that, and the other thing. I am
great. Gittles.
I went to the Renaissance Fair this past weekend. That's always a very good time.
For those who don't know, Matt's been doing this. God, I don't know how many years you've been going.
Hundreds.
20 years.
Matt might be secretly a founding member of this organization.
22 years, probably somewhere thereabouts.
Explain what the New York Ren Fair is to everybody.
So it's actually one of the more popular fairs in the country. It's up in Tuxedo Park or Tuxedo, New York, by Sterling Forest.
It seems like the wrong kind of outfit to wear to a Ren Fair.
It does seem like appropriate to wear to a Ren Fair. You'd be very warm.
Is this where tuxedos come from?
Yeah, I don't know. It's ye old tuxedos. Get it right. So it's it's a great outdoor event. It's on a huge plot of land, and it's all sorts of artisans. But glass blowing and jewelry making and all sorts of pottery and leather work, that kind of stuff. And then it's also all sorts of musical acts, variety acts, juggling, fire breathing, that kind of magic. Some Shakespeare, some small one acts. It's a lot of fun.
Do they have jesters that show up and that do juggling and magic and jokes and things like that, or?
So this particular fair is supposed to take place during Queen Elizabeth I's reign. So they
tell you beforehand what exact period that they're going for, or how does it work?
Well, so most Renaissance fairs have a story that you can follow throughout the course of the day.
Okay.
Right. So the fair, when you get to the fairgrounds, if you happen to get there for opening gate, you're greeted that morning by the Queen's Royal Guard. And then the Queen comes out and addresses you as though she's addressing, the people of her kingdom. And then throughout the day, there are things that take place that involve various members of the Queen's court. There's a couple of different jousts that take place during the day. You don't have to do any of that stuff if you don't want to. But it's all going on in the background. So for this particular fair, it's Queen Elizabeth. For Maryland Fair, which is my other favorite fair, that's all Henry VIII. So it's, it kind of bounces around there, but it's a lot of fun. It's a good time. And, I went and did glass blowing, and I had a barbecue Sunday, which is
Wait, did you say glass blowing?
I think I meant to say blowing.
Bunch of you guys broke down and just blew some glass.
That's it. That's how you do. Glass blowing demo.
That might be the show title.
But yeah. So, but it's always a fun time.
So you've been going for you said 22 years now. Does it get repetitive every year, or do they change up the acts? How does it work to keep you interested? Because I know I've only been going to Comic-Con for 4 years, and I started to get bored of it already. So I couldn't imagine 20 years going to Ren Fair.
Yeah.
Well, the general storyline changes a little bit each year. But I don't know, there are a couple of acts that I really look forward to seeing that I only see there.
Yeah.
Right? There's a couple of music acts, like traveling music groups, that I only get to see there. So it's once a year going to their concert. Do you know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, I totally. And
to be honest with you, I would say 90, and Eric's been to the fair with me before, I think once or
twice. Yeah.
90% of the time when we go up to the fair, it's not necessarily about going to see the shows.
Okay.
It's
just about hanging out.
It's about hanging out. It's really nice fairgrounds. The food is pretty good. There's plenty of places to drink and relax. And I have lots of friends that go up there, and we meet up there and we hang around. I mean, I've spent entire days at the fair, at one particular pub. You get there early, you go, you just kind of hang out all day.
Right. Yeah.
You do whatever. It's about hanging out with your friends and having fun. And it's not, I go and see a lot of the shows, but it's not always just about that. It really is just about, being social and hanging out with your friends.
So there's different experiences for somebody like Matt who's been going for so many years and knows a bit of a community or has a bit of a community there where you go to hang out and you catch up. But if for somebody just discovering this for the first time, either like it's a couple that just like, hey, let's go check it out, or it's, say you have kids and you're looking for something to do and you're just finding out about this and you want to go, you can go and experience and enjoy it on a different level rather than, you know, like what Matt's talking about, having gone there for so many years. If you're a first timer, you find all new things to enjoy about it.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. Yeah. I mean, there's so much to do. And like I said, even if you're a long timer, there's still plenty of shows to do and things to do and stuff to check out. But I mean, I guess the experience is what you make it. But I could see someone getting bored of going to Comic-Con to a certain degree.
Yeah.
And after a while, like for me, in all honesty, I don't love going to New York Comic-Con as much as I used to. Yeah. What I love about going to New York Comic-Con more than anything is seeing the people that I only get to see at New York
Comic-Con. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, once a year, I get to see people from all around the country that go to that event. Spending time with them is why I like going to New York Comic-Con.
Yeah, and you go to like Artist Alley and you get some custom stuff and all that stuff.
Right. So, you know, I think anything like that you can get bored of. It's just, I don't know, I have fun doing it. I enjoy it.
Oh,
how does Thomas like it? Is he, as he's getting older, like bringing him, because has he been going every year that you've gone?
He's gone every year since he's been born.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and he loves it. He asks to go. You know, so like he really likes some of the musical numbers. Thomas likes music. He's like really into all different types of music, and so he enjoys the music. There's a couple of like rides that he likes going on. Plus, you know, he gets to run around all day dressed as a pirate with a wooden sword.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
who wouldn't want to do that?
Pirates fit in during that timepiece, or?
Yeah, I mean, look.
There's always pirates there. There's pirates now. They just take cruise ships.
It's, even though it's sort of set in a time frame, there's a lot of anachronisms that take place. I mean, if you want to really get like nitty gritty technical, there's lots of guys running around at the Renaissance Fair in kilts.
Okay.
Kilts not traditionally worn by the time that, you know, Queen Elizabeth was around. That would have come at a different point in time. But Renaissance Fair, it's called a Renaissance Fair, but it's really sort of all encompassing.
Can I also point out that if this Renaissance Fair does take precedent, takes place during the time period of Queen Elizabeth I, would technically 10th and 11th Doctor Who cosplay be allowed?
Probably,
considering that the Doctor was married to Queen Elizabeth I at one point.
I would say that's a possibility.
Who knows? Maybe I'll do that, and they'll be like, "Oh, really? He's the guy that did this."
Is there any people who like show up like steampunky, and you're just like, "Get out of here," and you like shoo them away with a broom?
There's a bunch of steampunk people. There's always a couple of Trekkies that show up, and they. But at least with the Trekkies, they
know where they are.
Played it out to be. They kind of play it up as though they're like an away team, like exploring, like
they're observing the culture and not interfering.
It's like Star Trek 4, like with the whales, and they go to San Francisco, and they're like, "Oh, this is the time period."
Also, on a lot of fairs do this, but on what they call Black Monday, which is Labor Day Monday,
everyone dies of the plague.
The fair is open that day. It's the only. And that's kind of like an anything goes day.
Okay.
Like the plague.
Yeah. Everything goes.
I don't know. It's fun. It's a good time. I think you'd probably like it.
I would love it. I have like a fake like chainsaw hand I could bring from like Ash vs. the Evil Dead. I feel like I'd fit right in.
We'll be going a couple more times, probably in September. You should come with us when we.
I would love to go. So let me know.
Yeah,
I know Matt enjoys the mead. Do they actually have somebody up there that has bottled it where you can purchase it and take it home, or like a wine? No,
not at that particular fair. At the Pennsylvania Renaissance Fair, there's actually a brewery that's on the property called the Mount Hope Winery.
Okay.
And they sell that you can actually bottle and take home. But at New York, they do not have for bottling and take home.
Gotcha. Well, it sounds like you had a great time.
Always fun. Always fun.
Gittles, what's been going on with you?
Not much, man. I just been chilling, working. This past weekend, I went upstate to my friend's remote cabin in the woods to watch the Perseid meteor showers, and it was really nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool. Like we went upstate. The weather said it was going to be shitty all weekend, and I was able to get a 3-day weekend. I was like, you know what? I don't care if it's shitty. It's shitty. Let's just go and let's roll the dice. It's a mountain. It's upstate. The weather can change like that. It's the summer, and we got really lucky. Sunday night, it was like complete crystal clear skies. We were able to see tons of meteors. It was really cool.
That's great that you got a chance to see it because being in where where Matt and I live in New Jersey, still close enough to the city where there's too much light pollution at night. So everything, even if you kind of see the moon and maybe some of the planets, you don't really see everything.
Unless it's a really big one.
So I went and looked, and I didn't really see anything. So I figured somebody's going to be in a great location later. I'll look it up on YouTube and watch their video of whatever it is that they saw.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to see anything on video. It's going to be like, oh, what was that? Oh, shit. Like, you can move the camera too fast and it'll look like a shooting star because it's just going to streak.
Right.
But it was really cool. I mean, it's nice to go upstate where you can, like, hang out on a mountain. You have no cell phone service. You have, like, no way to, like, be distracted by the internet. And you can just, like, chill in nature. And it was really nice. Like, we were sitting out back every night at dusk. We would sit there and, like, there was a lot of mosquitoes and a lot of bugs and shit. But we had all these bats. And they would just like fly around in circles, just eating all the flies and moths and shit. We named them. There was Bat-Thew and Bat-Trick, and it was great.
Bat-Pat.
What'd you say?
Bat-Pat.
Yeah, exactly. And it was really cool. They were just flying, like just doing laps. I was like, man, I've never seen a bat do more than just a quick swoop and then hide back around here. They were just like flying around like birds. It was pretty cool.
Did you try to throw bread up like you would feed the seagulls?
No, but I did try and like catch moths and like throw it to them, and so, like it didn't work because the moths would just fly away. Like I'm not smart. I'm like, all right, here you go. The moth's like, thanks, buddy.
People are looking at you, and Gittles just awkwardly goes, "Ta-da!"
Ta-da! The aristocrats, the aristobats.
But on your way up there, I have something to tie into the bats in just a second. But on your way up there, on last week's show, we talked about the joys of a salad bar and the Fixins bar. Right? And Gittles took full advantage of the fact of stopping at a Roy Rogers and totally doing a purge of the Fixins bar.
Oh, dude, like, I almost shit my pants when we drove into that gas station. I was like, oh my God, there's a fucking Roy Rogers here. What are the odds that I just talked about it like a day ago and now there's one here? I'm like, I'm getting all of it. I'm eating all the pickles. Like, the lady was just like, I have to restock the pickles. I'm like, damn right you do. And I'm going to wait here for you to do it. And I put horsey sauce on it and it was fucking awesome. I didn't even eat dinner that night because I was so full from how many fucking pickles I ate.
There's some photos.
Hydrated.
There's some photos of it up on it's Erik Nagel on the Instagram. But Gittles was showing everybody how it's done because we were talking. Matt, you weren't here last week, but Trevor is not overly a pickles fan, and he hates olives of all kinds.
Oh,
yeah, it's really weird. But we were talking about how great pickles are, and it's possibly one of the world's most perfect foods, and how you actually are supposed to conduct yourself when you're at a Fixins bar, where you're supposed to take all the pickles. And what I would do is when you, if you got a burger or a chicken sandwich from Roy Rogers, it comes in sort of the metal wrap. You open it up, you stock it up high on your sandwich, then you surround the sandwich or the burger with pickles, and then fold it back up again. So not only do you have that, you also have a side of pickles with you.
Yeah,
I used to do that at at the Magic Kingdom.
Ooh,
in the little counter service restaurant that's in the World of Tomorrow.
Okay.
They have
endless pickles in the World of Tomorrow. I can't wait.
They have burgers that you can get there, and then they have the Fixins bar. And you get as many pickles as you can fit on a burger, and then you get the lettuce and the tomato.
Right.
And get a little bit of the onions.
Yep.
Make yourself a nice little side salad. Oh, it's delicious.
Yeah, we talked about making the salads and people getting in trouble for making salads out of a Fixin' bar when you're not supposed to be doing that.
I know. I'm like sitting there with like, they had like all the different sauces. I'm making like an aioli dressing for my fucking pickle salad I made here. I'm like, oh, this is going to be great. Even my friends were horrified by how many pickles I put on that chicken sandwich. Like, you're doing this just because of the podcast. Where I was like, I'm doing this because I'm a savage and this is how I eat food. And I'm really embarrassed now that you guys are watching me do this. But it was cool, man. It's like, it was a fun trip. Got to hit Roy Rogers. Got to stop at Stewart's ice cream shops and gas stations. Which, if you don't have a Stewart's around you, they have the best root beer on earth, and their ice cream is really good. And even though I make ice cream every day, I couldn't help myself, and I got more ice cream because it's fucking delicious.
There used to be a Stewart's near here, I think down in North Arlington.
Yeah.
Right across from the North Arlington Diner.
Right. And I remember I was like, when I discovered it, I was like, I got to go back there. And then when I actually went back there, it was closed. Like, for good.
That'll happen.
For good. Oh. It was gone.
So good, though.
Their sodas are very good. I also was told their hot dogs are very good.
Everything there is better. Like, you go there and it's just like, I was sitting there, I was like, man, if a 7-Eleven walked in this door right now, I'd just spit on it. I'd be like, get out of here. Like, this is Stewart's. Like, this is some good shit. They had everything there.
Get out of here, you dirty 7-Eleven.
Yeah, get out of here.
Speaking of 7-Eleven, latest consumer update is their Captain Crunch Crunchberry Slurpee.
I had that. It's really good.
I tried it.
Where did you get that Slurpee? Where did that come from?
I tried one today.
So confused.
I tried one today. I'm not a big fan of the Crunchberry cereal, but it tastes spot on. Like, it's good.
It tastes exactly like the cereal. It's like kind of crazy how much it tastes like the cereal.
Right, but at least with mine, it had a hint, a feel of carbonation in it, so it felt like Crunchberries with club soda, kind of. And it was actually pretty good. I got the small sample, but it was pretty good.
Yeah, I got it on free 7-Eleven, free Slurpee day, and I got it half Coke, half Crunchberries, and I was like, is that weird? And the guy who filled like his 1,000th Slurpee that day was just like, fucking kill me, I don't give a shit. He was just like, I don't want to fill any more of these Slurpees. He's like, I don't care your combinations, just get out of my face.
Wait,
I was like,
half Coke, half... So you made Coke berries?
Yeah, it was Coke berries. It was fucking awesome. It was so good.
Oh, good.
Now, like, I might actually go get Coke and Crunchberries and make some dinner.
Nice. You were talking about bats up in...
Yeah, man, they're batty.
Seeing bats up in the mountains there. So, we do the show last week, right?
Yep.
We've done and everything. I'm at home. I am having dinner now in the kitchen. I'm sit down and I'm eating, watching the news, and I feel something go, like, right above my head, right? So I was like, what the hell's going on here? And I'm looking around. I don't see anything. I was like, wow, it must have been one of those moments when you think somebody's standing next to you and they're not.
Like It Follows?
Yeah, something like that. And then all of a sudden, so I'm just kind of, keep looking around because I thought I felt something. And I look up and I'm eating, and all of a sudden I see it dive bombs right at me. And
shit.
I jump out of the seat and it goes flying around the room. And the way it looked like a bird. So I was like, there's a bird in the house. So I go running to I have a big glass back door, and I try to open it up, and I'm like trying to get it to fly outside. It does a circle and then goes through my dining room, which doesn't have the lights on, and I see one of my cats chasing after it.
That's hilarious.
So I'm like, all right. So I shut the door so the cat doesn't get out, and I go running to find it. I can't find the thing. It's gone. I turn on every light. I'm looking all over the first floor. I don't see it. It's gone. It's like, what the hell's going on here? So I go outside for a second because I hear my neighbors next door, and I'm talking to them. I said, could you give me a hand for a second? I'm like, because if it's a bird, like, I want to get a blanket or something, but that's not a one-person job. That's a two-person job where you try to both throw it over.
Oh, yeah,
right?
you got to be careful with that.
So I ask him, like, could you just give me a hand a second? I think there's a bird in the house. And he's like, yeah. So he comes over. We're looking. We can't find it. So he's like, do you think it went upstairs? Okay, so I turn the stair lights on, and I looking. I don't see anything. And as I'm about to walk up, I see shadows on the wall. I'm like, yep, it's on the second floor. So we go up there, and my neighbor goes up, and he's looking, turns around, runs back down. He goes, that's a fucking bat. I said, what? So I look over there, and there it was a bat. Now I could see it. So there's a bat in the house. So his buddy that was with him goes up the stairs, but he's now walking on his knees. He's not standing full up.
Why?
I don't know.
Can swoop. It flies. Like, it has mobility.
He's on his knees, but he's smart. He's going and shutting every door on the second floor so it doesn't go into the other rooms. It's now just circling back and forth around the light and landing on top of a cabinet on the second floor there. So now we're trying to figure out how to get this. So I said, you know what? I'm going to get the broom and try to, smash the thing.
Yeah, that's bats' natural enemy is brooms.
So I get the broom. I come back upstairs. It's gone from the second floor. So now it's on the 3rd floor of the house.
It's in the belfry?
So we're like, all right. So we go up to the 3rd floor of the house, and we're looking on, and it's going back and forth because there's not as much room on the 3rd floor as there is the rest of the house. And it's going back and forth, side to side. And now it grips onto a part of the wall, and it's hanging near a clock that we have on the wall. And it's not moving. So my neighbor's friend, he goes over. He's on his knees again as he's trying to open the shades and the windows so we can try to... We're trying to shoo the bat out of the house. The bat starts going crazy. We have the windows open. And I can't do a full baseball swing in that area with the broom. So I had to choke up halfway, and I'm doing a combination like hockey swing, baseball swing, right? And I'm doing it halfway because I don't want to swing around and knock
That's
stuff.
like a coach would yell at you if you swung a baseball bat like that.
Exactly. But this is a broom, and now I'm like, you know what? I'm going to have to do it like a hockey stick. So I'm doing it in an upward motion. I finally hit the thing. It goes flying into we have one of those big wooden trunks, right?
Yeah.
It goes flying. You hear the splat as it hits the broom and the thud as it hits the trunk. Falls down. It's squeaking like crazy, right?
Yeah, because you just smacked the fucking bat with the broom, dude.
Right? So I hit it, and now I'm trying to flip it over, right? And try to sweep it over closer to the wall where the window is, and I'm going to do like a hockey flip, like, and get it right out the window, right?
All of the sports you're doing right now.
So
the most sports he's ever played.
I know.
Right. So
Bat hockey.
I flip him over, and now I just see this mouth, and because they can't see, they're blind, but you can see what
That's
is
not
their
true.
eyes. His mouth's open wide, and his starts going like that. It's terrifying. It's only this big, but it's terrifying, right? So I'm smacking it again with the broom, and I'm trying to, like, he's grabbing onto the broom, and I'm like, cool, if he hangs onto it, I'll get it up to the window and then knock him off the 3rd floor, right? Going on, doesn't do anything. I'm flipping him, and he moves, and the last time I try to flip him out the window, he sputters in midair and now hits the stairs and goes tumbling down the stairs to the 2nd floor.
My
right?
God, this poor bat.
So it's half flying.
It just wants to eat your mosquitoes, dude.
It's half flying, half, crawling to wherever it goes. Now I can't find it. I'm looking around again. It's hiding behind something. So now I get a towel and I throw the towel over it, right? So I figured, okay, that'll be good enough to get it out of there. As I'm trying to bring him over to the window on the 2nd floor, he falls out of the towel. It's like, this is not going good. I take the broom again. Now I got him and I flip him out the window, right? So I flip him out the window. I shut all the windows. I go outside to the side of the house where the driveway is and the cars with the flashlight to see if it landed on the cars or if it's under the car, something like that, right? Don't see it anywhere. It's gone. It's gone. So either it flew away or some animal got it. Either way, it's out of my life, so I'm good. But that's not the end of the problem, because now if there's a bat in the house, I'm looking up online, how did that bat get into the house? They said, well, in some cases, if a bat is in the house, there might be multiple bats in the house.
Oh, shit.
So they said, if you have an attic, if you have exposed walls anywhere, do you hear fluttering in the walls? Because that's where they would breed and hang out. Now I'm freaking out. I'm like, if one bat just showed up, there might be other bats in the house. I call the exterminator that I have a contract with. They come over. They do a full check on the entire house. And there's no droppings. There's no anything in the walls. They believe that they noticed the flue to the fireplace wasn't closed all the way.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
They think that the bat flew in through there.
Makes sense.
Because he didn't
I
see...
got a bird in the house that way once, so I wouldn't be surprised.
You had the what?
I had a bird get into the house through the flue.
Oh,
wall.
right, through the fireplace. So they closed the flue fully. We checked everything else out. The house is completely fine. No droppings anywhere. No traces of anything. Although they did find on the new gutter guards that I had put on last season that there was a bit of a part of it popped up. So there's like a bit of a hole. And they found that I had European hornets nesting in the gutters.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah, so they soaked that stuff with all kinds of chemical goodness. And they said within 48 hours, these things will be gone or dead.
And so will you.
Yeah. So that cleaned up my house.
Did you get rid of all the bat eggs?
No, there were no bat eggs.
All right, just checking.
No bat eggs. I would definitely send them over to you. You could make some nice concoctions with it.
Ooh, a bat egg omelet.
Yeah, I don't think bats lay eggs. I think they're
I don't
mammals.
think so either.
Moving on. So that was our personal stories. One other thing before we get into some other news stuff, we received some care packages from our friends at Rockstar Games. And it's a big promotional thing for Red Dead Redemption 2, one of my favorite games.
Nice. Electric Boogaloo.
So we all got Red Dead boxes, which contain a nice T-shirt that says Redemption in the font and red lettering across the chest, bunch of stickers, and the old Western tin can for when you're on the campsite and you're firing up your coffee or your beans.
Oh yeah, that's great for beans.
Is it actually made out of metal?
Yep. Wait.
Oh shit, that's awesome! I can't.
Yeah, it's like those like enamel coated ones that you get for camping.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome.
It looks like those. If you ever went camping when you were younger and your dad had the old tin coffee pot that would percolate on the campfire,
right?
That's the same material.
My dad had that coffee pot, and he brought it inside, and it worked into normal rotation, and now that's our coffee pot.
You know what? That's what happened with us when we used to go camping. My dad had that, and then now to this day, all he has are the percolating coffee pots. He doesn't use the Keurig. He doesn't use the stuff that pours the water through. It's got a plug-in where you have to have the base to sit the coffee grinds on.
Yeah, that stupid like tin thing. It looks like a can of cat food with holes around the side. You fill it.
You know
what?
Yeah.
You know what? That makes some of the best coffee ever.
That's what it does.
I was just going to ask you. Matt's a huge coffee lover. My dad swears by this way of making coffee. He says it's the best way you make coffee.
100%.
The old school filters and let it percolate until it's done.
You don't even need a filter. There's no.
Yeah,
filter.
you don't. It just percolates, and then all the grounds get stuck in that trap.
A little bit.
No, we always had filters in there, so because it was easy to clean out and
even fancier.
Nope, no filters. And then I take whatever's left over if I don't drink the entire pot, and I have a growler, like from 2SP, I think, that I had cleaned out thoroughly.
Yeah.
I pour the extra coffee in the growler, and I stick it in the fridge, and I got iced coffee.
That's awesome.
Are you my dad?
I mean,
just asking.
I know of, but it's possible.
My dad does that all the time. He's like, I made iced coffee. I'm like, when? He's like, a week ago when I made regular coffee and I didn't finish it. I'm like, oh, like I don't want to drink that.
You know what though? Honestly, as long as it's cold, it doesn't turn.
No, it doesn't. Like, I mean, even like I'll go and get the iced coffee at the bodega that I know is just yesterday's coffee, and when you add milk to it, it turns gray and not that brownish color. Right. You're like, oh, this is gonna be weird, but you need coffee, so you do it.
Yeah, any port in a store.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I remember the technique for what I was supposed to do is what I would make his coffee was, you know, put the filter in the grind, let it perk, and when it was done perking, pull the guts out of it. But you still leave the pot plugged in so it stays warm.
Plugged in?
Yeah. He doesn't do it on the stove. It was a plug-in percolator one.
Oh, fancy.
No, yeah, I know. I use the plug-in one as well. The one that goes on the stove is an espresso machine usually.
Yeah.
Oh, I got like the camping one where it has like the same like filter on the top and like it percolates and it like goes through the top. Not like I know the one you're talking about, like the little like Italian one that's got like the weird base on the bottom and then it's got like the weird like top.
Yeah, I love those.
Like this one looks just like an electric kettle. It just goes on the stove. You get them for like $15.
Okay.
But they're literally like camping ones.
The one my dad has or has always had for years is this like big stainless steel looking coffee pot. It's more thin than it is wide, but it holds like a gallon or something like that. And when it's done perking, you take the guts of it out. You put the lid back on. It keeps plugged in, and he'll just keep going until that pot's done, and then the cycle continues. That pot is only never plugged in when he goes to sleep.
Wow.
It's nonstop coffee all day.
Oh, I love your dad.
Yeah.
I kind of live that same life, so.
Yeah. I had a coffee before. I haven't drank enough water today. I'm kind of jittery.
I feel like my heart's gonna explode.
Yeah, I get into a situation where like I white out. I'm like, oh my god, too like caffeinated. I'm like, it's not like a blackout. It's just everything turns white, and then I wake up on a sidewalk with squirrels.
That's great. You have one of those mystery powers like in Cloak and Dagger.
Yeah,
where you just wake up and you're like, what happened? What did I do?
Drink and stagger. I'm like, just fall down.
Moving on. Want to touch on movie. We've talked about Movie Pass a lot, and it's not just because it's like a trendy topic, but we actually have the cards. We use the service.
Yep.
This past weekend, Gittles tried to go to a movie, and no movies were available.
It was yesterday. It wasn't even this past weekend. It was yesterday.
It was yesterday.
and there was no movies anywhere in the city.
I on Sunday tried to go see The Meg, and for some reason it wouldn't let me.
Meg.
But also, I when I couldn't get the movie ticket, I said, "That's it, I'm done. I'm going to cancel." And I tried to cancel, and it doesn't let you cancel.
Nope.
And some people actually were able to cancel and then got re-signed back up.
Yep.
How is this legal?
I don't know.
You know what it is? It's
shady bullshit.
It's crazy. It reminds me of that episode of South Park where they try and do the timeshare and they keep trying to leave and they just keep getting brought back into the same room with the timeshare.
Yeah, no matter where they leave from, it walks right back into the same room.
Yeah, until they finally leave and they're like, "Yeah, we got movie pass." And everyone's like, "Yeah, but we don't like movies anymore." Like, but I don't know, man. Like, I think like what you were saying before we went on the air, just change your credit card number to a fake number, and then when it tries to re-auto enroll you, it won't be able to.
Yeah, I think I'm going to put incorrect account information in there just to try to cancel this thing. Because what are they going to say? Your information's wrong and you need to pay this bill. No, I kept trying to cancel. I took a screenshot of me trying to cancel and it wouldn't let me cancel. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You know,
I get like...
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say, so I get, like, emails every day on here. Like, you know, like, when your phone buzzes and it's, like, a bad weather alert? Like, that's what my emails are like from MoviePass. Like, every 2 hours, there's, like, a new update of, like, what's going to happen. And so today they put it out, and they're like, okay, so we're only going to choose up to 6 films a day. But it'll include a selection of all kinds of films, but like there's only going to be 6 movies a day that you can see. You can't see all 6, but there's only going to be 6 that you can choose from, and they're going to put the selection ahead or like a week ahead so you know what's coming up so you can plan it. So today I checked my movie pass after I got that email, and the things that are showing up is The Meg and Black Klansman, the only 2 movies I still wanted to see.
Right.
So
it works out in your case, but the whole thing, the whole way this is operating is just getting crazier and crazier, you know, because we had stated, you know, we don't think anything that they're doing is technically legal. So the fact that, you know, they're limiting the movies you can see not only per month, but now per day, what's actually going to be available. You can't cancel. Like, when does this thing just, you know, run off and die? Like, when do they shut this down?
Like I said, I paid for the annual subscription, so like I don't have to renew anything till March. Like I've already paid for it, so like I'm like that person.
You've gotten your money's worth.
Yeah, like I'm on the roller coaster going up, and you're like, well, there's no turning back now. Whatever happens, happens. Like I can't get off this ship. But you know, so I'm gonna use it, like I said last week, until that fucking that horse and pony show is done. Like I'm riding that horse all the way to the glue factory, and they just keep moving the gate a little bit each week, so I'm not actually getting there, but I could see it. But today the options are Black Klansman, The Meg, The Miseducation of Cameron Post, no idea who that is, We the Animals, Skate Kitchen, Juliet Naked, I don't even know what that is, and Summer of '84, which I actually want to see.
What's
and then
Summer of '84?
Summer of '84 is a grindhousey type movie made by the same people who did Turbo Kid, who we had on the show.
Right. Okay.
And it follows like 4 kids, and there's like a murder mystery in their town, and it gets like kind of dark. A lot of the reviews said it was like it, but actually scary. So I don't know. I'm gonna check it out. It looks good, but that seems to be playing every day, like on here. Like that's not changing. Like there's 5 movies on here that aren't changing at all. Which happens to be like The Miseducation of Cameron Post, We the Animals, Skate Kitchen, Juliet Naked, and Summer of '84 seems to be available every day, with 2 major movies changing. So tomorrow it's Mile 22 and Christopher Robin, and then Saturday it's Alpha, whatever that is, and Slender Man, our friend.
Yeah,
Alpha is the wolf one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a wolf thing.
Yeah.
And then Sunday it's Crazy Rich Asians, which I thought was a reality show. Black Klansman again, and then it all just starts repeating again. So Monday it's gonna have The Meg and Mile 22, and then it's just gonna keep repeating. It's almost like school lunch where you would know every day, like, oh, Friday's pizza day, Wednesday's burger day, Monday's chicken nugget day. That's what it seems like MoviePass is doing. Which, you know what, to be fair, like, if I have this for the rest of the year and this is what it is, I get a choice of 6 movies each week, that's fine with me. Like I don't care. I already paid for it. Like that money's gone. It's spent. I've seen 12 movies already, so I've obviously paid for it. So I don't know. I wouldn't sign up for it though.
Yeah. I'm actually curious to see when AMC has their, because the AMC theaters are what are near me. to see what their plan is. I know they said it's $20 a month, 3 movies, or I forgot the rest of the details, but they still haven't finished designing what their new property is going to be. So I'm interested to see what they're going to do with this.
My friend already has it. He signed up for it.
It's available now. I didn't know that. All right.
Yeah. It's like $20 a month, and you can see like 3 movies, like any movies or something like that. But then there's another one. There's another one that's called Cinema with an S, like SINEMA.
Right.
And they put out a thing today where if you're a Cinema member and you can get your friend to quit MoviePass, they'll give you a free month of Cinema. So they're like trying to get people to quit MoviePass to join their service, but their service isn't much different than what MoviePass is switching to. Like their whole service has always been like, okay, well, these are the movies we have for the week and you could see these. So it seems to be like MoviePass is moving on to that sort of a subscription type thing. Whatever. I don't know. It'll probably change before this show is done taping, so who knows?
You made a mention earlier in this conversation about like your phone with the alerts going off for the weather.
Yeah.
So in the past week, I kept getting constant flood alerts. And it wasn't just like a notification. It's that, you know, when the emergency alert system shows up on your TV late at night and it makes that horrible antiquated emergency alert noise, right? So that's what your phone does. And it kept saying flood alert, flood alert. And anytime I've gotten those things, you didn't really take it for its word. You're like, you know, there's a potential of a flood, but nothing really overly floods, right?
Yeah.
So in the last week, in the areas that Matt and I live in, a lot of flooding happened. There was so much rain, and it like one day, I think it was Friday, rained in the morning, stopped, rained later in the morning to the midday, stopped, and then rained again in the afternoon. Caused so much flooding, like the parks near me in the lower end of my neighborhood were all underwater. If you went over closer to the highways, like Route 3 and into Route 46, going into northern central Jersey, I think it was Little Falls area, Totowa Little Falls, the highway goes over this river, so it makes sort of a bridge. The bridge surged, the water surged so high that it was flooding the parking lots for the Fairway, and like Best Buy was completely underwater there, Barnes and Noble. But then on the other side was a Jeep Chrysler Dodge dealership. And the river flowed so much towards the dealership, it lifted the cars off the lot.
I saw the videos that you were sharing. It was
floated
crazy.
them down the river, and they were all smashing into each other very slowly. And then, you know, like when people put the slow-mo filter on their Instagram stories now?
Yeah.
It was that, but in real life, where they were slowly coming down this raging river, gently tapping each other, and then, because the river was so forceful, smashing them into the side of the bridge where they were flipping over, landing on top of each other, and getting crushed like a can.
The best part was all the people standing on that bridge, like taking video of it. Like, what if the bridge collapsed? Then you're going to fall in the water with all these cars that are just going to run you over while floating. Like, what the fuck?
There's one guy going, holy fuck, holy fuck, holy fuck. It's like, stop yelling that and
like,
either get off the bridge or videotape the damn thing, whatever you're going to do.
Yeah. Ugh. So yeah, I mean, like I saw some footage on the news, and it reminded me of like the footage you saw during the tidal wave in like Fukushima, of like the cars just floating down the street, and also like
from the tsunami,
Hurricane Sandy, when like all the cars were like backed up into the Holland Tunnel and just like floating there. Like, it was very similar. Yeah, it was like out of a one of those disaster movies. Which one? Any one.
Pick
any disaster movie. Independence Day.
Core?
Yes, you are right. Well, the videos are up iHeartRadio on Instagram if you want to check that stuff out. Also up on the Facebook there. Please take a look at those and you can see what we were talking about. A couple other notes before we go to break. So the founder of Reddit had a piece that was on CNN, their money section, where he was giving out advice to people on how to moderate, spamming and trolls and all the hatred that's showing up on Reddit. And really, the only advice, I mean, he had his best intentions, I guess, and, whatever he legally had to say in order to, not be sued with all the nonsense that's going on Reddit. about how to do it is like you just keeping up with the moderators, and if you are a moderator of a subreddit or something like that, you got to constantly keep tab to delete this stuff and report things. But there's really nothing else you can do. There's no kind of filter or anything you can put on that thing to prevent them from finding some way around it, creating a new account.
Yep.
You misspelling words, because I know that algorithm's there too. They look for certain words and phrases that might be considered, violent towards people or hate speech and stuff like that, and people just always find a way around it. So that article's up on CNN if you want to check it out. And the reason why I bring this up is because apparently somebody on Reddit is using the handle "It's Erik Nagel," right?
Oh, awesome!
And pretending to be either the show or myself.
It's me.
Well, if it's you, you got a lot of problems coming. Then
I don't know what's happening.
No, because I spoke with Reddit and they're investigating it. But so people started writing me saying that I was writing these horrific things about people I used to work with, and I said that's not my account. And they were claiming, yes, it is. Oh, you deleted it and you're trying to cover your tracks because I was like, it wasn't my account. So somebody made this account a while ago and was posting in Simpsons and wrestling forums, right? So they really were living the gimmick here. And from the stuff that I could find that wasn't deleted, doesn't sound anything like me or what this show talks about, right?
That's so weird.
It is so weird. And then the account starts attacking, people that I worked with, and this isn't me. And then they deleted it and then put some other stuff saying that they live somewhere out in the Southwest or something like that. So anybody listening, that's not our account. That's not my account. I have one Reddit account that I haven't used in years that's sitting dormant on Reddit somewhere. But that It's Erik Nagel account that's on there is not me. It's not Matt. It's not Gittles. Nothing to do with our show or any of us personally. That's somebody else.
I bet it's Trebs and Devs.
I bet it's Trebs and Devs too. That guy can't get enough.
Can't get enough indeed. So that being said, I just wanted to put that out there so that people knew that it wasn't us. The other thing I wanted to bring up here was I wanted to get your thoughts on this, and then we'll take a quick break. So there's been some concern and discussion about some events that happen online as far as what you can and you can't say under the guise of free speech while on the internet. The bigger name
can and can't say, like getting slimed, like you can't say that on television.
Yes, if you say I don't know, oh crap, it just falls all over you. But Alex Jones got kicked off of Apple, Facebook, YouTube, and then later Twitter, because Twitter wasn't ready to dump him yet, and then finally did. And then the big problem was Vimeo, who was hosting all of InfoWars. Web servers, video servers, things like that were all done through this service that Vimeo provided. They dumped him now. So now he has nowhere to put any of his content, any of his stuff that he talks about, his ramblings, his insanity. Then Gavin McInnes, who we know we've talked about on the show, here and there, the one of the co-founders of Vice, very, I don't even know if it's conservative is where he's at. Is it like overly conservative?
Say,
like, is there another tag to put on top of that?
Yeah, right wing.
Okay.
Isn't he a little white supremacist too?
He's very opinionated.
Yeah,
and
sure.
So he got thrown off of Twitter right before his organization or his group, his gathering, was supposed to have a counter protest down in Washington D.C. So with all of this going on now, so everybody yells and champions free speech, which I'm all about, but there's consequences to it, and then there's also what free speech technically is that you don't get incarcerated for it. You for having a point of view, whether right or wrong, extreme or moderate or whatever it is, you have the right to say it. You can't be you can't be taken to you can't be arrested, you can't be taken to jail, you can't be imprisoned for it. But if you work for a company, you have free speech, but you don't have it when you're working at representing that company. They have the right to fire you, remove you on those grounds. Now it's gotten to the point where if you have, say you have your own website like Alex Jones did, right?
Yeah.
He does all his stuff all in-house, all on his site. But you can't build a server to handle all of that stuff. That's millions and millions of dollars. So when you're using another company to as your foundation to build the rest of your independent stuff. And now even that is a place where you can't say what they want to say and without repercussions from it. I get the reasons why, because they were citing that they were talking like inciting violence towards a lot of people. So I get that. But does this concern anybody? Could this go too far? Where, all right, now it's like it starts off where, okay, they were, implying violence towards people and this other stuff. Then does it start to build where it may be misused, that power to do that?
But it's already been misused because people used James Gunn's old tweets to get him fired. So like it's already been used as a weapon. Like they like seeing a conspiracy theorist who said Sandy Hook was a false flag and acid rain is going to turn frogs gay, and basically putting out vague statements. Like that's in the terms of service, dude. Like if you're on a network and they have a terms of service, that's it. Like Alex Jones's terms of service on his own website that says if you do not follow our forum rules, you will be banished forever to go back to whatever fucking tribe you want to go to. And that's like the actual language they use.
That was the terms of service for InfoWars or for the server that InfoWars was using?
On Alex Jones's own forum. His personal forum says follow the rules or be banned, so he can't get mad. You can't get mad if you have those rules on your website and then someone else has the same rules and they ban you. Like, I don't know, like it's not rocket science here.
Right.
Like, I just don't get it.
Well,
I mean, the thing is, it's like you're not going to get people like that on the left band because there's no people like that on the left. Like, who's the left-wing conspiracy theory?
Well, all right.
Who is it?
I'm not talking conspiracy theory. I'm saying
that's the thing.
There's been cases on the left too where people have gotten pulled off and banned from things because, like idiots on the right, they're inciting violence or a violent act. Okay,
that's fine. I have no problem with that.
I get that. But it's a weird situation because remember, for the longest time, Facebook was being accused of not just the white supremacy-ish stuff, but people were saying any kind of conservative speak, religious speak, things like that Facebook was censoring. Remember, that was going on for a while, all those accusations.
But that was conspiracy theorists spinning a conspiracy, because I can't spend more than 3 seconds on Facebook without seeing a million conspiracy.
Like, dude, like I don't know where these people are seeing this disappear from, because like I see just as much of it on my timeline. Maybe they're throwing it at me because I don't subscribe to that like point of belief, but like I have not seen a diminishment at all.
No.
But also it's like I see people on the right saying things like, dude, he's only entertainment. If you take it seriously, you're an idiot. And then they also say, but they're trying to silence our thoughts. It's like, well, then what is it? Is it only entertainment? And it's like you should view it that way, or they're silencing conservative thought.
You can't
take one or the other.
You can't take him, like in Alex Jones' case, you can't take him as entertainment, because for so long he was trying to come off as a credible news source. He was getting journal passes to try to go to conventions, to try to go to rallies, to get interviews, like a journalist would. So you can't try to be an alternative news source at one point and then turn around when shit hits the fan saying, oh, I'm doing a character. Like he said in his divorce proceedings, he was portraying a character, which then loses any credibility that maybe somewhere in the world had him as some sort of news journalist. That diminished, and then anything else he was saying doesn't fall into any credibility if you believed him at one point or not. Having any kind of credibility on anything serious because of the entertainment aspect of it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't see this as like over censorship of right-wing people. If anything, I see more right-wing people now on Twitter being like, I'm going to try and get banned because it's now a badge of honor. And they're like going around being like, oh, I got shadow banned. I got banned for this. I got banned for this. Raise your hand if you've been banned from all these sites. So like people are trying to do it now because that builds up the conspiracy that voices are being silenced. So like I don't know what's.
So you're saying the conspiracy, like their thought would be, the conspiracy doesn't exist. How do we create it?
Yeah, I mean, that's basically what's happening. Like, people are getting kicked off because of their terms of service, like because they're not following the terms of service. And now they're saying, oh, we're being silenced. It's not. Like, you're not following the terms and service. Like, if you don't follow the rules at an amusement park, they'll kick you out.
Right.
Like, I don't understand, like, why it doesn't apply universally. And like I said, if you could find someone who is as extreme on the left, then, like, ban them as well. But I don't know anyone on the left who could even remotely come close to Alex Jones or, like, any of those conspiracy guys. Like, I can't. Can you? Like, off the top of your head.
No.
Anyone. One.
No. I mean, none that stands out. Hold on. None that stands out as a polarizing figure like a Gavin McInnes or Alex Jones. There are lower individuals who I have seen on Twitter where in discussions, they're anybody who's so far in any direction I have an issue with, because then you can't converse with them. You can't have a conversation with them and try to let me, meet in the middle and work with each other in a discussion. But I've seen people on the other side where they've gone nuts and then they turn to being insane. And as soon as you start, threatening violence on people, and then they wonder why they get thrown off of things. It's like, you can have a heated discussion. You can be opinionated and political and religious and whatever you want to do, but you can't just say, I'm coming to kick the shit out of you, or I'm sending people to come kick the shit out of you, or here's somebody's address if you want to go and talk to this person. Those kind of things. I've seen it on all sides, and those are extreme cases. But yeah, you're right. I don't know anybody completely on the left that's inciting a conspiracy theory or implying violence towards people.
But even like the Jade Helm stuff and like all these conspiracy, like there's so many conspiracies. Like I can't think of any like on the left really, other than like Bush rigged the election in like 2000. Like I honestly can't think of and the Russian stuff is like, that's being investigated. Like that's not a conspiracy because they're finding witches. It's not a witch hunt if you find witches. So like you can't, I can't think of something like even comparable to saying Sandy Hook was fake being put out by people on the left.
That was,
what
horrible.
I mean? Like,
yeah. I mean, and that falls right in there too. When
he promoted the Pizzagate conspiracy, which got a person shot. Like a dude got shot in real life because they said John Podesta and Hillary Clinton were running a child smuggling ring out of the basement of a pizza place, and some guy shot it up. So I guess I have to look at this from the angle of Twitter and Vimeo and stuff like that, where if I put out this stuff on my platform and someone gets shot, am I legally responsible because I was hosting their video? Like, how does that work? There's a lot of there's a lot of factors involved here, but I don't see this as some great silencing of conservative voices as much as people being like, I don't want your shit on my site.
Because I was wondering about, I'm not saying that it is or it's going to, but I was wondering if can this eventually, if this starts getting a momentum, can this, like in anything, can it be misused? If this is going to be a trend where you're going to see a lot of services, say they go after something like Breitbart, which we know is an online conservative news source. If they start going that far, is that cause for concern? Like now this is just getting a little too into trampling on the whole freedom of speech thing. But to be fair, the two people that have been affected by this are very polarizing figures, and it's only been them. It hasn't like we've seen a whole trail of them going, leaning on to Fox News, leaning on to other conservative-based websites.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't see it like happening at that level. Like the people who've been affected by it, like literally broke the rules. Like it's Alex Jones, Milo, whatever his name was, who lost his book deal because he was actually, it said he diddled children, unlike James Gunn.
Do we know that for a fact though? Because I don't want to get. Do we say allegedly he did? He said that on a Skype broadcast. That's why he lost all of his stuff, because he said that you can fool around with young boys. Like it wasn't a thing. Okay. Like that happened. All right, if it's out there, then then that's fine. That's being careful. That's all.
Yeah. I mean that definitely happened. You can Google it. But I don't know. Like I just don't see this happening. Like if Twitter was like, I'm gonna ban Fox News, I'm gonna ban Breitbart, ban all this stuff, then I would start to have cause for concern. But if anything, I don't see that happening. I just don't.
All right, Matthew.
I think this is just they're following the rules.
Yeah, it's. I guess anything is possible, but I don't disagree with it. If someone is doing it on either side, then those companies have a right to ban them. I also think this is different than the James Gunn thing because Twitter didn't ban James Gunn. Disney fired James Gunn for something he said on Twitter. That's a little bit different.
Of course.
Well, that is true, yeah.
Quick note on that, and then after the break we'll get into TV movie stuff. But James Gunn, Disney stated that they are not going to rehire James Gunn. They had a courtesy.
That's not a shock, though.
They had a courtesy meeting with him, but they've stated that they're standing their ground. Even though because last time we talked, Matt, when you were here, the outrage, the voice of the outrage was bigger than the voice of the ones concerned about him making those jokes. And Disney's just standing with their decision that they are not going to bring him back, but they are going to use his script. Which I think is kind of crazy too, because like if all those people really cared about like James Gunn being a pedophile and all this stuff, then they should be like, yo, Disney, you shouldn't use his script either because there might be like pedophile jokes in it. Like why not just like go full on for it? You know what I mean? Why not be like, don't use his script? Yeah, I don't know, but that's where it's at. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll cheer up a little bit. We got some TV and news updates and other fun stuff for you. We'll be right back.
It's Erik Nagel. Eric, Matt, I think Gittles is in there too. Anyway, the show will be right back.
Attention, shameless social media plug.
It's Erik Nagel is on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and reluctantly, Snapchat. So follow, like, and subscribe. Would you kindly? It's Erik Nagel. It's Erik Nagel. He is back.
Welcome back to It's Erik Nagel. That is me, Matt OG, and Gittles, both in the Upside Down. Trevor is out sick this week, and we are listening to Aerosmith. Some news with Aerosmith. Just saw them on the Today Show. They did a big live concert out in Rockefeller Center there, and they've announced that they're doing a Las Vegas residency. That seems to be the thing now. When you're a big act, they haven't had an album or a hit in at least 10 years, but it doesn't mean they were washed up. When they spanned decades of having massive hits, they're far from washed up, but it seems to be a trend now for older acts to do these residencies, for the most part, in Vegas.
Good for them. They've reached that point in their career. I guess they've earned it, and if people go and see it, then kudos to them.
I'd go see Aerosmith if they were playing.
If it was free.
What, you got to be comped at the casino in order to go see Aerosmith?
Yeah, like you lost all your money. Here's some free Aerosmith tickets. Sorry to make your day worse.
Can I get the buffet tickets? No, we just have Aerosmith. We have plenty of Aerosmith. So they're moving out to Las Vegas, which I thought was interesting. TV and box office news. I guess the big television news would be, well, one of the big things was the return of Chris Hardwick to Talking Dead. Did anybody get a chance to see that?
No, I never watched Talking Dead to begin with, so this is not entirely,
unusual for you.
Yeah.
So we've been covering his situation for a while, where he was accused by an ex-girlfriend for having a rather abusive relationship, and she also accused him of blocking her from getting work in a lot of places. And there was a lot of speculation involving this particular relationship, where it pretty much comes down to he said, she said. She didn't name him, and we've covered all this in depth. You can find everything on there. She said she had evidence. She didn't reveal it. AMC did their own investigation and determined that there was nothing there to hold him off the show, so they put him back on. So a lot of people were happy. A lot of people weren't. Some people complained that they didn't involve Chloe Dykstra in the investigation, when also it turns out that she declined to be involved in the investigation. So if she declines to be involved in the investigation, you can't claim, well, they didn't talk to her, this was unfair, and all these other things, and you're putting this guy back on unjustly. It's no, they went through they're a corporation. They went through their process, and they did more than any other corporation would, because a lot of them would do an investigation, would see that there's all these people talking, and said, you're fired. We can't deal with this. They actually did an investigation. They suspended his show. They put him back on, and his first appearance back on in a long time was this past Sunday night, right after Fear the Walking Dead. He did an apology. Here it is.
I am so appreciative to be standing here right now. And I want to thank you, the Walking Dead community, for all of your support these last couple of months. the show is not just a job to me. This is a vital part of my life, and this has been a sanctuary. These last 7 years we've been here. This has been with me through good times and bad times, and I have so much gratitude to you, the fans, and the producers, and the amazing cast of both of these shows, for allowing me to come here and be a part of this community every week. This is what this is. This is a community. And, we're on the precipice of a lot of changes on both Walking Dead shows in the coming weeks and months. And I'm so looking forward to going on that journey with you. And I've said the following words a million times, countless times, and yet I have never been more thankful than I am in this very moment to say to you that I am Chris Hardwick, and this is Talking Dead.
So as you can hear in that apology, he was very emotional. It sounded like he was very appreciative to be back. And, he's got a lot of repairing to do, a lot of the stuff to build up again as he does the course of the Talking Dead here. Walking Dead comes in right after this season of Talking Dead is done, and I know he does the Preacher finales, that specialty shows, and apparently he's going to be a part of all of those things. So I thought they would just have him back for the rest of this season, and then he'd be off again, and then they would maybe cancel the show. But it seems like he's on for a while now. What are your thoughts on that, Matt?
Look, I think they probably put him back on because they didn't have actual just cause to fire him, meaning as far as his contract is concerned. I said that if Chloe Dykstra actually has something, then now is the time to do it. And if she didn't come forward with it, or her evidence or whatever else she said she had, then, that's on her at this point. I mean, if she, I'm not saying that if he did it, it's not bad, but at some point she's got to back it up. If she says she has something, she's got to release it. If she doesn't release it, then I kind of feel like that's on her.
Yeah. There's two things to think about when it comes to that. One is that, look, even though she didn't mention him by name, she pointed all the fingers towards him, so everybody figured it out. And then said that she had video and audio proof of what she spoke, and then never put it out. And when people are saying, well, you need to put this out in order to make your point or prove that you're 100% correct with what your accusations are, people started defending, why does she have to put it out? She doesn't need to explain anything to you. It's like, you kind of do. You said that you had it. You made this accusation without naming his name, but there's some fallback to that. So, she could get sued for wrongful information if she says she has proof and then doesn't have the proof or doesn't put it out there.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Right? So that's one side. The other side, and I didn't think about this until recently, somebody had written somewhere that maybe she's holding on to it for the civil suit, that if she used it in this investigation, it would, lose its impact or whatever if a civil suit was supposed to happen. Interesting, possible. Anything is possible at this point, but could a civil suit really do anything more at this point? He's lost so much and damaged so much of his credibility.
But has he? I mean, he's back.
He's back
on more shows than he thought he was going to be in. Like, what did he lose other than a couple of months on the air?
I don't know if he has his NBC show back. In fact, you know what? You're right. I just heard he's going to be doing another guest spot on America's Got Talent.
Yeah, I mean, he's not losing money here. He's still doing everything. If anything, he didn't lose anything. I can't think of a single way he was been seriously impacted by this other than the original when they took him off during the investigation and all that. And now he's back. And to be honest, I don't know what to believe. Things happen in relationships and people are shitty to people and people are you don't know about.
Right.
I mean, the fact that we don't know what kind of lawyer Chloe Dykstra can hire to go against a lawyer hired by Patty Hearst, who is Chris Hardwick's mother-in-law of, a billionaire family, so who knows what legal defense she even had, if she had evidence. And maybe she had evidence and they were like, yeah, you have this, but this isn't enough to do anything. This is he said, she said stuff. And what do you want us to do about it? So I don't know the whole situation. I don't know if he's guilty. I don't know if she's making up lies. I don't have enough information to judge on it. I just don't watch those shows, so I just really don't care, to be honest.
I think that's what it comes down to. Is I don't I don't watch any of those shows, so I just don't care.
Yeah, well, that's what it comes down to for me.
Okay. Moving on. Some TV updates for you. We're starting to see the outline for the brand new Sabrina the Teenage Witch venture that's going to be coming to the CW, or is it their streaming service?
No, it's actually coming to Netflix.
It's Netflix, okay. It's under the same world of Archie comics, but it's not going to be like the Sabrina the Teenage Witch that you knew from the television show. It's called The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, starring the, what's her name, is Kiernan Shipka. She was the daughter of John Hamm on Mad Men. She's playing Sabrina. It's supposed to be a lot darker, and it seems more like fairy tale style stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be based closer on the comic book that had a similar name. If you remember back in the long, long time ago, Christy Puchko used to talk about it all the time because she was a fan of it. So, I mean, yeah, it's not going to be the Melissa Joan Hart show. It's going to be a scarier, a bit more...
a hokey talking cat.
Yeah. But look, I'm okay with it. It is what it is.
Cloak and Dagger has run up its season on... what's that network called? Freeform?
Freeform.
Yeah. Did you follow it or no?
I did not. It's on my list of things to watch, but I haven't.
I'm several episodes into it, and they still don't know what their powers are, why they have them, or anything has been explained. Like, it's taking a long time. They're just dealing with their own family bullshit. It's like, and then the powers just show up whenever they feel like showing up. It's a really weird show. It's like the audience doesn't know what's going on, nor do the characters. If that makes any sense. Doctor Who, some news for you Doctor Who fans out there. The BBC told the Radio Times that the show will return by October. That's the closest that we've got to a release date. Filming has finished, and the 10-episode run will end a couple of weeks before their traditional Christmas episode, which, of course, airs on Christmas Day.
Right.
So, looking forward to that. Moving on to movie stuff, speculations of Idris Elba becoming James Bond surfaced again. I don't think the dude wants it. He's just trolling people on Twitter when he said, "My name's Elba, Idris Elba." People were like, "He's going to be James Bond," and he just seems annoyed. Like, he does not want to be James Bond.
Well, maybe.
No, people. It
maybe
seems like
maybe he's just playing it off all coy. Like, I don't want to be James Bond. And
I don't know.
Like,
it seems
hey, man,
like
you want to be James Bond. He's like, I was really hoping you'd ask.
No, I don't think he wants.
I think the people want him to be James Bond more than he wants to be James Bond.
Well, I feel like.
Yeah.
No, go for it.
No. I honestly don't think that he wants to do it. I think he wants nothing to do with it.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I think this is a big thing that's happening with fandom now, where people get really excited over an idea and they really want it to happen, but they don't know if the actual person wants it to happen. So then when it doesn't, they get all upset. And it's like, yeah, but like, you made all this up. Like, you made these theories up that you wanted him to be Bond, or that he was going to be Bond. Or, like, so you can't be upset if he doesn't want to do it. You made it up.
Right, exactly.
And then they get outraged when it's not happening.
Well, yeah, it was like that website that Matt used to talk about, the guy who put out all the fake, like, Marvel claims and shit like that.
Right, exactly. Yeah. L Maybe, we call him.
Yeah.
Yeah. L was his actual online handle, but we called him L Maybe.
Other movie news: Star Trek number 4 is not going to have Chris Pine or Chris Hemsworth like originally thought.
Is it going to have talking whales?
I hope it does. And they make translucent aluminum, or whatever the thing was that he created.
Transaluminum?
Yeah, so Chris Pine, who plays Captain Kirk, is not returning, they said, due to money issues. They couldn't come to an agreement on money. So you're not going to have Captain Kirk. The main fixture of the movie is not going to be in the movie. Are people going to be okay with a different person playing Captain Kirk?
I don't know. It's like when the neighbor moved out on Married with Children, and then they got the new neighbor.
Which they
thought
he
was kind of
Ted McGinley.
He was kind of better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? It worked for Married with Children. Maybe it'll work for Star Trek.
Matt, what do you think? I know you're not a Star Trek guy, but
no, I think they'll just to pick a new captain. I think they'll just move past the Kirk years.
The Picard.
Oh, move. Well, it said that the rest of the cast is returning.
Yeah, so they'll do some sort of weird segue.
Kirk's on
some sort of
assignment.
lens flare time warp thing to go through.
okay, you guys are now just going to become next generation. We're moving right into N. We're going to put a bald guy in, and Simon Pegg, you're going to be Worf.
And go.
Star Trek 4 just turns into the Black Mirror episode from the first episode of season 4. It's like, hey, how did we end up here?
Yeah. What the fuck?
Yeah, we weren't on the USS Callister.
Yeah.
I want to end on some Disney news, some updates for you, that they're working on the live Mulan movie.
Yes.
People seem to be very excited about that.
There's a famous magic streamer who plays magic, and he was cast as one of the roles in Mulan. So that's kind of interesting. Yeah, I didn't know he was an actor.
I don't know who you're talking about, but good for that guy.
His name is Jimmy Wong.
Disney. This happened right after the last show, so that it's about a week old, but it's still worth mentioning. Disney has released some information about what they're going to do when the merger happens with Fox. That they are going to release any complete, according to Screen Rant, they're going to release any completed Fox movie projects after the merger. So anything that's already done that hasn't been released, Disney says we will still release those projects if they've been completed. Anything that was still in the works is, I guess, going to be a case-by-case basis. I'm not sure. But Disney now obtains about 40% of the total domestic box office with this merger.
We've been saying this.
Yeah.
We've been saying that Disney, the biggest thing is the true impact of what Disney will have box office wise.
It'll have all kinds of great properties available to them. The Simpsons and Family Guy are going to get new movies. So there's going to be a second Simpsons movie, and there's going to be a Family Guy movie. Also, a Bob's Burgers movie is going to be commissioned.
Why though?
I'm like negative on all of these. Like, not one of those makes me excited. If anything, it makes me sad. I just don't.
I do enjoy Bob's Burgers, but I was looking forward to a movie.
What are you gonna do for a movie? How many musical numbers is he gonna have? Like, what's the plot? Like, I don't know.
It'll be
they're gonna get bought out by In-N-Out, and then they have to like what's gonna happen?
That would be great. A Jack in the Box moves next door.
Yeah.
It takes that empty store that keeps changing titles at the beginning.
Like, I mean, that could be it. That's like how season 3 of Black Books opened up with the bookstore. The movie opened up right next door, and that was a great episode. So hey, maybe
he punched the hole.
See, now you're starting to sell me on it, Eric, by saying it's going to open right next door and it's going to be a Jack in the Box.
So really, the Bob's Burgers movie is just going to be the rehashing of the plot line from season 3 of Black Books.
Of episode 1, season 3 of Black Books, yes.
Nice.
It's gonna be great. That's a great episode.
So we'll end on this because this is I need you guys to explain some of this to me. So Disney put out a statement saying that they're going to take a stand against overzealous copyright holders. What's going on here?
They're shutting down people who are illegally using their imagery to sell their product.
That doesn't seem difficult. It doesn't seem like to be a problem.
Right. So here's the problem. On the surface, that's what it is, right? There are people that are illegally using Disney's images to sell their product.
Okay.
So people are like, the problem is
that Mikey Moose?
There are like daycares and hospitals and stuff like that. They paint Mickey Mouse on the walls of the children's ward and stuff like that.
Okay.
But when you get into some of these copyright issues, right, the way the law works is that if you don't actively protect your copyright, your rights to that copyright weaken and can lapse.
So you just have to constantly attack people who use it just so to keep it relevant.
Right. So, it's very easy to say Disney is going after hospitals, right? But they're not going after hospitals. Disney is protecting their intellectual property, and the way that, like when you go into a restaurant, right, and you order a Coke. This is the story they teach you in business class. Right. If you go into a restaurant and you order a Coke, and they bring you out a Pepsi without telling you it's a Pepsi.
Yeah.
In theory, that weakens Coke's copyright on the product, right? So Coke could go after that restaurant for selling Pepsi
under the guise of being a Coke.
So that's why when you go into most of those restaurants, the waitress or waiter will say to you, well, we don't have Coke.
We have Pepsi.
We have Pepsi.
Yeah.
Right? But
because they have to.
See, I thought you were going to say where if it becomes universal, like when people order a Coke, it means a brown carbonated soda, like a Kleenex or a Xerox, something that becomes universally
Band-Aid.
associated with a product.
Right. But if it becomes universally associated with a product in a dialect, that's different than if it becomes universally associated with a product
in a business practice.
In a business practice.
Gotcha.
So like the people from the South who all call soda Coke, like have you ever met people like that? They're like, oh, what kind of Coke you want? I'm like Coke or like drinky Coke, like, and they're like, no, I mean like Sprite, like blah. I was like, why do you call it all Coke? Like we just call soda Coke. I'm like, that's weird.
No, that's not how this works. So I mean, it's easy to say Disney's going after hospitals, but Disney is just protecting their property. Look, if a hospital paints Spider-Man on the wall in the children's ward, Marvel should go after them. I hate to say it, but Marvel should go after them. Right.
But also, Marvel will also send like Chris Pratt or like the people who like play those actors
Tom
to
Holland.
these children's hospitals to like cheer the kids up.
And the truth of the matter is, like, I don't know how it works, but all of those hospitals have huge legal teams, right? So all those hospitals have huge legal teams. I bet if a hospital actually took the time to go through the proper channel, Disney would probably be pretty lax about allowing them to use it. But if Disney says they can use it, that's okay, because that's Disney granting permission for use.
Right.
Yeah.
And in a case, the hospital, if Disney found out, they can go, well, technically we could go after St. Jude's because they made a Disney mural on their new cancer wing for children. But is the PR nightmare worth the initiating that we own the copyright to this? You know what? We'll just let it be, and maybe we'll send some stuff down to the kids.
Right. But again, you have to remember that they have to somehow document that they've allowed it.
Yeah.
If they don't document that they've allowed it, then they're not protecting their copyright. And if they don't protect their copyright, they run the risk of losing the copyright.
I think their lawyers would send a notice and saying, we've received word that you're doing this. We're giving you full permission in that letter so that the hospital has it on record. And then,
but like, can they get named by like other people who've had their copyright? Like, so like, say someone gets in trouble for it and they're like, yeah, well, I know this hospital's using it too. So like, will they use that as a way to get them in trouble? You know what I mean?
They could. But see, this is how you have to read these stories, in my opinion, especially when it comes to Disney, right? Because Disney is a really easy target. Like, people like to go after Disney because of how big they are.
Right.
40% of the box office. Blah, 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 blah. But let's say you are, let's say you're an independent artist, right? And you create some sort of web comic or online comic that appeals to children.
Yep.
Right. And you don't have a lot of money. You're not earning a ton of revenue, but you depend on what revenue you do earn from that comic to make your living. Now, let's say a hospital takes your characters without asking your permission, starts painting it all over their walls and not giving you credit.
No, I mean, I get it.
So the problem,
this is the bad headline.
Law doesn't look at this guy is small and this guy is big. Law just looks at who's the copyright holder. They have exclusive rights unless permission is granted.
Right.
So do you think like people in Artist Alley who do like stuff like that have like permission from like the like people who do like custom like Rick Grimes, like do they have permission from like Image?
So, all right. What 90% of those people do not.
Okay, that's what I thought. Because I was like, there's no way that they gave all these people permission.
Yeah. But, there's some sort of weird. See, with Marvel and with comic books, it's weird because they kind of let fandom have a little bit of leeway. And I think that's because they probably use that as their talent pool.
Well, I mean, I think it uses it as a talent pool, but like I think the more as more people find more fans, and like you see cosplay expand, like it almost enters like a whole new like industry of like you have more Comic-Cons, you got more of this because all the fan art's selling. But like, yeah, you know what? It's getting our product out there technically, even though we're not making the $5 off the print.
But I will say that there have been cases where Marvel or DC, I don't remember which one, and certainly Lucasfilm, even prior to the Disney buyout, when it was just Lucasfilm would go and shut down those artists at Comic-Con.
Okay, I see that.
People selling fake lightsabers, people selling art inspired by, they would shut those people down. And people would bitch, Lucas has so much fucking blah, blah, blah. But the flip side of the coin is you're stealing their and making money off of it. Like that's a problem. So, and the other weird loophole is, let's say you were an artist on Spider-Man, right? Like you did a 10-issue story on Spider-Man. And now drawing like new images of Spider-Man. Marvel tends to give those people a little bit of leeway because, they've contributed to the character. They're part of the talent pool. They've worked on the show. I mean, could they pursue it? They probably could, but I think it's a little bit different. But look, I know that it sucks, but I don't have a problem with Disney or anybody else protecting their copyright.
Yeah, I mean, the way you explained it makes a lot more sense than like how I was reading it in the article, because like they just didn't describe it like very well. But like, yeah, you explaining it makes a lot more sense, because I read it and I was like, "What, are you going after sick kids, really?" But like, yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, they have to protect their copyright, and any major company could do that. If a hospital is painting the M&Ms on the wall, Mars could tell them to stop.
Or if someone makes an account name that's like it's Erik Nagel on Reddit,
right?
Exactly.
Now, so here's where it becomes funny. So if all Disney does is issue a cease and desist, and that's where and then comply, and that's where it ends, then that's fine. Now, look, if they don't issue a cease and desist and they move right to like litigation, that's kind of a dick move.
Yeah,
but I don't think they're doing that. I don't think they are. People, look, you have to either get formal permission or remove the mural. It's a cease and desist is what they're doing.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Well, I was reading up on it, so it's all stemming from their response to some lawsuit allegation about this Michael Jackson documentary that's coming out here that Disney... Was it Disney and ABC's doing the documentary The Last Days of Michael Jackson, which uses excerpts from This Is It and other works, including music videos from Thriller and Black and White. So the lawsuit came in California federal court back in May and pointed to just how seriously Disney takes its own intellectual property. So I guess these people were saying that Disney using all the Michael Jackson stuff to make the documentary and getting sued for it, and then they point out, well, look how serious Disney was fighting against it, and they were saying, look how serious Disney takes their stuff when they go after all these other people.
Yeah, but do we know that do we know that Disney didn't get permission to use that stuff?
I'm sure they did. How do you?
But that's
other than Captain Nemo or Emo, whatever his name was.
My point is, it's really easy to point your finger at these big companies,
right?
And cry foul. But you have to really try to apply one standard across the board. If Disney is using that stuff without having the proper rights, then fuck Disney in that particular regard. But still, that doesn't mean that they don't have the right to protect their property elsewhere.
This is true.
Think about it. Think if someone went to Toys R Us, well, Target, bought one of Randy's NECA toys, right?
Right.
Went home and used a high-tech scanner, 3D scanned it, printed it, and then started selling it.
Well, can they do it like the porn rules where they say not NECA?
Yeah.
It's NECA. It's NECA with 2 C's. It's like the NECA wafers.
Like a problem, right?
Right.
It's the same thing.
But I think there was a guy even last year at Comic-Con we were talking to who had like a knockoff like Rick and Morty portal gun. He was like, yeah, these aren't on the market yet. And I was like, yeah, because it has like a shitty seam line around the side, and you obviously like made this yourself.
And it had that, it had like that chrome tape around it instead of making it look shiny.
Really shitty.
Yeah.
No, it depends, because there was the legit one that was Funko.
Yeah.
which was the really nice one. But there was some other company, because I saw that licensor at Toy Fair.
Okay.
That had some sort of license to produce them. It was just a shitty version. It was the Oriental Trading Company version of the
yeah. Yeah, you get a box of 144 of them for $4.99.
Exactly.
With that being said, there's the music. Let's do our plugs. This has been another edition of Walt Disney World Presents. It's Erik Nagel. Let's go to Matt OG. Let's go to Matt OG. And what are your plugs, sir?
You can find me on social media at GeekStuffOG. New episodes of Geek Stuff go up every Thursday, unless you are part of our Patreon. Then you can get them early. You can go to patreon.com/BKGeekStuff if you'd like to check that out and throw some love and support our way.
Gittles, what do you have?
Gittlebase on the Twitter, Instagram, and Xbox Live. This Sunday, I will be hanging out at Queen's Brewery in Ridgewood, New York, because they are doing a homebrew takedown, and I'm going to be volunteering to get drunk. So if anybody wants to come out to Queen's Brewery and try a whole bunch of homemade beers and hang out, I will be there getting drunk. So come hang out.
I think I might go do that.
Yeah, you should come on out. Yeah, that's all I got.
For me, it's E-Rock Radio across the board, but more important, it's Erik Nagel across the board on social media, Facebook, YouTube. Please like and subscribe there. Also, on iTunes, if you could leave us a nice review, 5-starred if at all possible, we would definitely appreciate that. Also, 651-764-8437. That's 651-SMITHERS. Call and leave a voicemail. We'll use it on a future show. I think that's about it, right? We covered everything? Good. Till the next time.
Like a tarp.
What?
Like a tarp.
Like a tarp.
We covered everything. Get it?
I get it. Until the next time, everybody.
Have an excellent time.
No, wait.
Oh, be excellent to each other. It's been a few weeks.
And we'll be seeing you.
It's Erik Nagel. And that's all the time we have. Follow the show at It's Erik Nagel on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Unless we do something stupid or something better comes along.